But anyway, it's time for Tucker Carlson, who now has Andrew Tate live.
A former kickboxer who's built up a truly enormous following on social media. Until a couple months ago, we'd never heard of him. And then the other day, virtually every tech company on the planet banned him. Not just his presence, but also his ability to conduct business on the internet. He was taken off Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, all of it. Then they started telling you that not only was he not allowed to talk, but that you weren't allowed to like him because he was an incredibly bad person. And our view on that always is we'll decide for ourselves, since we're adults and Americans, and we'll listen to anyone we want, and we'll come to any conclusion we care to come to about what that person is about. So we sat down at some length and talked to Andrew Tate, and we wanted to show you some of it so you could make up your own mind, which you're still allowed to do as far as we're concerned. Here's part of the interview.
I don't really feel like I've exposed anything. Like, I'm truly not a very political person. This is the first time someone's experienced this level of ban. I'm not particularly right-wing. I don't vote. I mean, I obviously have my own personal views, but they didn't ban me for that. They banned me simply because I had large swaths of the population agreeing to very traditional masculine values. Teenage men and young men, 20, 22, 23, 24, were looking up to me.
I think even conservative moms didn't like what he had to say. That's why he got clapped up so quick.
And a big house and a lot of money and a beautiful girlfriend, and they thought this was very, very threatening. And for some reason, they decided that it's better if they annihilate me from the internet and replace me with somebody who's more.
Why did this motherfucker have a gamer chair in his bathroom, bro?
Is to young men.
Yeah, so I think that being a man is very, very difficult. I think that men's issues are largely overlooked. The people in charge of the world pretend to care, but when somebody who's championing men's issues like myself comes forward and finally manages to garner huge percentiles of the public support, I'm silenced. So they're not really interested in men's issues. And there's a lot of young men growing up today that feel very disaffected.
I agree with that, but he's the worst person for it.
Agendas that are being forced down their throats are not agendas they align with or they feel affinity to or agendas they want. And I basically just say to men, look, it's a very hard life. You're going to need to get up, work hard, go to the gym. Strong body is a strong mind. You're going to have to reject listening blindly to everything you're told, reject the slave mind, think for yourself, get a strong network of brothers, work aside them. Don't tolerate low-quality people in your life, which means don't tolerate men who just smoke drugs and play video games, or men who are disloyal or dishonest. By extension, don't tolerate women or girlfriends who are disloyal or dishonest.
My man literally, oh, dude, this is so cool. This is the funniest backpedal I've ever seen.
Programming that the Matrix tries to influence you with, and grow up truly happy. And what happens is when I say these things, they ignore 95% of what I say. They ignore me saying that you need to avoid low-quality men.
He went from
take the bit where I say
he went from Aiden Ross to Tucker Carlson talking shit about video games.
On a reel, a very short 3 or 4 second clip, and then they say I'm a misogynistic person and I'm dangerous to women and I need to be banned. The problem is that the majority of young men in the world today are completely invisible, and social media has made them invisible. If you go into an Instagram feed, you have extremely beautiful women, which is fine. That's what? They're beautiful. They're allowed to take pictures. But the only men who have followers are men with massive social status, right? Men with Ferraris and money, or rappers, or people who have YouTube channels, interesting people. If you're a normal man with a normal job, you don't really exist in the online world. It's very difficult to get followers.
So same with women. What the fuck?
You don't really matter. You don't have access to the sexual marketplace. It's very difficult for you to even get any kind of recognition that you're even alive. And a lot of men feel
Bro, I think this dude hangs out with so many Instagram women that he forgot that like real women exist without like massive social media following.
Perhaps, but that's the way the game works. You need to become a man of importance. You need to become a man of influence, or you're going to suffer the pain of being invisible forever. Here is how you do it. I wasn't trying to change the rules of the game. I was just telling the men how to win, because I came from nothing and I'm completely and utterly self-made. And I think the reason a lot of men
he will never pop off.
Invisible. They feel like
I'm calling it. He will never pop off like this.
Women expect me to be
he's too cowardly. He tamped down. He fucking genuinely brought the rhetoric down so
funny,
much.
and
That's
it's
not
just
why
too
he
much
popped
for him
off.
to
He
handle.
popped
The
off because he
social
was
pressure
easy
on
to
men is
fucking
absolutely
consume and
immense,
understand,
and I was
and said
championing their
ridiculous
issues.
shit.
And at the same time, all these social media platforms pretend to care.
Nah, this is
As
just
soon as
boring.
somebody
Now
they
you're just a
resonate
bald
with
fucking
stands up
dude
and
in his
champions their
bathroom
issues, they mass
crying about
blanket
being
ban
fucking
me,
banned off
which
social
shows
media.
they have absolutely no care for the young men of the world today. They think that by banning me, I'm just going to vanish, and the young men are just going to go and start eating the gruel that they're fed on their YouTube feed. They don't want to read. They don't want to see transgender people wear makeup. They don't want to see that. They want to see a man who has a bunch of money and a nice life and some fast cars and is strong and is confident. They want an action hero, and that's something that large portions of the world still want to be. And YouTube and social media platforms obviously just don't like the idea of that. They want to get rid of me and try and replace me with something they see as far more malleable, trying to create people which are more malleable and more easy to program and more easy to control.
So news accounts in the United States say that the U.S. Embassy in Bucharest, Romania, was tipped off to your misdeeds and alerted the local authorities you might be committing human trafficking. Given that this is the same charge they leveled against Julian Assange or a species of it, skeptical, but I want to know the details. Were you arrested for human trafficking? What happened?
He's a truth teller like Julian Assange.
It is. I suffered from a case of swatting. It's very popular with people who are large on the internet. Many large YouTubers have been swatted. It's where you call the police and you say somebody has a gun or there's a hostage situation and the SWAT team arrives.
No, it's not.
Somebody made
because it doesn't make fucking national news or international news when you get swatted, because there is no actual fucking legal charge associated on top of it.
To the world, I have absolute respect for the police. I would hate to live in a country where if you call the police saying women are being held against their will, that the police don't respond. That would be terrible. Of course they should come and look. Absolutely. They turned up, they investigated. They realized that nobody was in the house against their will. There was no crime committed. They said, okay, you're not a suspect, but you are a witness to this, along with me, my brother, the housekeeper, the gardener. Everybody who was in the premises at the time was labeled a witness. We had to go to the police station for 45 minutes for pieces of paper.
I'm telling you, he's too
boring. We filled them in and we were let go.
This is not what popped him off. What popped him off was saying dumb shit. And if he does this, if he speaks like this, like a little fucking neutered cat, no one's gonna clip this. You can't clip this and put this on TikTok.
So sum up for us, if you would, what you think the response.
What you can clip and put on TikTok is what he actually said about why he went to fucking Romania, which is like, because he can do Me Too stuff there.
So I certainly made them mad with my views on COVID. I don't want to go to conspiracy theory, and I would also never kill myself. Let me just say that here for the record. But at the time of COVID first being announced, my brother and I we sat and had a very logical conversation, and we sat and said, we're two young fighting age males. If COVID can kill us, then the world is over. It's zombie apocalypse time. So there's no point hiding. We may as well go out with a bang. So my brother and I flew to Stockholm, Sweden. Now, I don't know if many people know this, but Sweden never closed down. Stockholm and Sweden never closed down, never made you wear masks, never mandated the vaccine. At the very beginning of COVID, when the rules were strictest, when Florida was still closed, when Miami was still closed, when the Republican states were still closed, Stockholm, Sweden was wide open with full nightclubs and a party scene like you've never seen. And we lived in Sweden for 3 solid months with zero restrictions, zero worry or interest in COVID. It was like the world was completely normal. And from there, when we left, obviously COVID was still going on. And in a neighboring country, you go to Germany, and they were having full panic attacks, genuine panic attacks if you didn't have a mask on. And it was just very obvious to me. I was like, I've spent the last 3 months ignoring this, and I'm fine. And now I'm in Germany surrounded by panic attacks.
Wait, didn't this motherfucker literally give Michaela Peterson COVID, who then gave it to Jordan Peterson, or was that Michaela's next boyfriend?
The decimation of your income, the fact you can't go get a doctor's appointment for a genuine ailment.
It wasn't him, right? It was it was the other one, right?
The fact
or was
that
it
you
him?
can't see your loved ones in their final days. These things
it was
are
the Russian
far
guy.
more destructive than the common cold. I think that what they're doing is unfair. I think it's a massive overreaction. And this is based on my personal experience. And I think at the time there was a lot of pushback, but I would like to
the COVID narrative about like, oh, the numbers are fake or whatever is boring. Like it's already old school. You know what I mean?
I used to say to my brother, how will people struggle with the cognitive dissonance when
people
this
have
is
mostly
all
checked
over?
out of like the COVID
Because
thing. Most
COVID is
normies
still
are
out
like,
there.
yeah, all right, we're living our
Nothing's
lives
gone
now.
away.
You know what I mean? We had to
The
do what
thing
we
that
had to
we were
do.
all hiding from is still right there, out there to get you. But now everyone walks around and they're not scared of it anymore. And I'm like, are people critical enough to analyze themselves and say, for a year of my life, I was deathly afraid of something. Now I'm exposing myself to said thing and I'm not afraid anymore. The media tricked me and I was a fool. But they're not. They don't even seem to self-analyze and go, I got tricked. They're just like, oh, okay, next thing. Hey, Andrew now. Like robots. It's mind-bending to me, truly.
I don't know if he
So
knows
I
this,
saw
but
you
something
compare the
crazy happened.
experience
It's
of
called
rich
vaccines,
people
which he's
under
against,
COVID,
I
you're
think.
one of them,
And
to
also
everybody
even
else.
Paxlovid and
Nobody
like
knows
numerous
about that.
treatments
It seemed
came
like
out,
a two-tiered response.
which greatly reduced the number of casualties of COVID.
Yeah, so the story was very simple. I
Even
was
though in the
flying
United States of America, more than 1 million people died, which I guess is not that important.
air carriers. It's only low cost primarily. There's not much first class, business class, anything like that. And I was flying, and my experience was plagued by endless paperwork, wearing a mask, put the mask over your nose. Every time you eat, you have to put the mask on in between. I got told off for not having the mask up high enough. I got told off for drinking too long because my mask wasn't on. Pure panic and chaos. And because I'm fortunate enough to be fiscally secure, from there I decided I'll just buy private jets from now on. And when I bought a private jet, there was no masks, no paperwork, no mask at the airport when I landed. My air stewardess was not wearing a mask. My pilot was not wearing a mask. COVID didn't exist once I bought a private jet. Very interesting. Maybe if you're rich enough, COVID can't take, maybe COVID's scared of money. I'm not sure. But it seems that everyone who's flying on private jets never had to worry about COVID ever. It's just the people at the bottom.
Wait, what? Yeah, no shit, bro. What the fuck? Yeah, because you're around literally one other person that's also tested. What?
Are only the rules for a certain class of people.
My man literally
And once you
said,
pass a certain
I self-isolated in my private jet. And for some reason, I didn't get COVID while flying. Yeah, a luxury afforded to
me to
everyone.
make a joke of it, but when I would fly on a private jet and do whatever I wanted, or go to Sweden and party in nightclubs and do whatever I wanted, and then I'd come to, let's say, England and see my friend who couldn't go see his dying grandmother because of a COVID restriction, that's truly sad. That's truly criminal. It's really crazy what's happened and how the world's just moved on, and the cognitive dissonance that people don't have enough respect for themselves and for the truth to analyze how they were so easily fooled. It's really sad to even think about, but maybe that was the beginning of me being disliked, by just pointing out my human experiences during the pandemic. But I want to tell you something that's actually kind of scary about this banning. It all came so hard and so fast that I don't know if they all just follow each other. I don't know if they're all influenced by each other. I don't know if there's someone above them all. I don't know. But when they go to cancel you, ladies and gentlemen, it comes hard and fast. You lose your Facebook, then your Instagram, then your Gmail, then your Discord, then your website hosting, then your domain name, then your payment processor, then your bank. Then it's just like in real time, you're watching your phone and apps just exploding. Boom, boom, boom. It's crazy.
That's it?
Andrew Tate, you don't have to agree with everything a man says to believe he has a right to speak in public, and we do believe that. No one gets to tell you who you can watch. No one gets to tell you what you have to think. No one gets to tell you who you have to hate. You're an American and an adult. You can make those decisions yourself. So why don't they want you to hear from Andrew Tate? They really think he's a worse influence on the youth than, say, Cardi B. Tell us how. They're telling us he's a criminal. Okay. Has he been charged? Who are the victims? What are their names? It's going to take a lot more than that to have us believe he should be canceled, or anyone else, by the way. We're against censorship, period.
I'm telling you, dude.
And more than anything, we're in favor of people making up their own
He's in a
minds.
double bind. That it's the Trump conundrum, right? In many ways, you can never have another Trump, because Trump is a fucking media demon, right? Trump is like sassy. He's a media demon. Also, he's like incompetent at the same time because of how sassy he is and how much of a fucking media demon he is, right? Because of that, like, Ron DeSantis can't be Trump. If you want to be like Trump, you have to You have to play a very delicate balance. You have to toe the line of being a fucking sassy bitch who says crazy shit, but that will sometimes also tilt the balance. Andrew Tate can't simultaneously be on social media without being banned while also maintaining the same level of attention and eyeballs. In order for him to command millions of eyeballs like he did, he has to be crazy. But if he's being fucking so crazy, that's how he got banned. He went over the line and became the singular force of misogyny. He rode the misogyny wave to a tremendous amount of success, but because he became the face of misogyny online, the face of the guy that like 11-year-olds were quoting, he got fucking clapped up. Why did he get clapped up? Because of all the crazy shit that he was saying. He flew too close to the sun. So now he's trying to dial that back. But even if all these platforms were to turn around and be like, oh, my bad, here, let's reinstate your accounts. It was really fucked up that we did that. Then if he maintains the same kind of boring fucking content that he's doing on Tucker Carlson, like, oh, I'm just a regular old guy. Oh, I don't know. I just wanted men to be strong. If he says that, then that's boring. That's not going to work. Because then you're not going to be as popular. So in many ways, like, this shot across the bow kind of destroyed him completely. It was always going to be a 15-minute of fame, Andy, even if he didn't get banned. These takes get stale fast, and Zoomers will quickly move on to the next thing when he keeps saying the same stuff over and over again. Same thing that happened on Fresh and Fit when they fell off. He's lucky now. He might be a martyr. Best outcome for him. I kind of agree with that as well. Fresh and Fit really was popping for a while, for like a month or so, because everyone was clipping their shit out and posting it everywhere. And the more they triggered people, the more prominence they gained. And now no one gives a fuck. No one watches their shit. Yeah, now they're stale and fat. And